So I just watched Zootopia 2, written and co-directed by Jared Bush alongside Byron Howard. So to give my history with this franchise, I absolutely love the first Zootopia movie. It's easily one of my favorite Disney movies, and honestly, depending on when you ask me, I might just say it's my favorite non-Pixar Disney movie. And since the first one came out, I've been really excited about the possibility of a second one. So naturally, when it was finally announced we were getting a sequel, when we got trailers to confirm it was actually happening, I was really excited. And now that I have finally seen Zootopia 2, I have to say it is not quite as good as the first one, but I still really enjoyed it. This was still a really good movie, I think. Now, right off the bat, let me get this out of the way. A lot of people are saying that this is actually more of a Disney's 100th anniversary film than Wish for several reasons. The city in the film Zootopia is actually turning 100 and celebrating its 100th anniversary within the movie. There are a ton of cameos from veteran Disney actors, and there are quite a few points in this where there are subtle references to other Disney films. So, and after I've watched it, I can definitely confirm I think this is a movie that definitely serves as a better 100th anniversary than Wish did. In terms of the movie itself, the comedy in this film is upped with more jokes than the first film, I think. They're not all funnier, but I think there are definitely more jokes in this. And not every joke works, but the ones that worked really made me laugh. In terms of like highlights of humor, I would say the scene in the reptile bar, most of the callbacks to the first film and a lot of the characters who come back from the first film were really funny. There was a reference to a certain horror movie in the third act that made me laugh really hard. Like, if you've seen the film, I think you'll know which one I'm talking about. There's even a point where they take a shot at Disney live action remakes, which, like, I'm honestly shocked Disney let them get away with that. The movie also doubles down on the animal puns, and some of them are just pretty much like the equivalent of dad jokes, and others honestly made me laugh harder than I'm proud to admit. Like one in particular, when Nick and Judy like attend a gala in the first act. But despite the film being really funny, it also, similar to the first film, balances this humor with a very impactful story about gentrification and political corruption and history erasure, like the idea that history is written by the winners. And it's able to effectively show how all of this can really affect people and the damage it can do even if you can't actually see it. The animation in this is obviously great. It's Disney, which like I mentioned Wish earlier, so I guess I can't say obviously animation's great, but like it's great. It's great animation. They explore a lot of new environments that weren't really explored in the first film, like the marsh market and the desert in the third act, and it all looks really good. The action scenes here are a lot of fun and keep you on the edge of your seat, particularly a lot of the action scenes around the climax were really gripping. The score by Michael Giacchino is good. Like it leans more into the retro cop feel than the first film did, I think. And it almost kind of sounds like his score for Incredibles at points. And I liked the mysterious theme they used for Gary the Snake. I think that was a really good new theme that they introduced. And now to move on to the characters, who I definitely have a lot of good things to say about, but also this is where some of my issues with the film come in. Nick and Judy, I think, are a mixed bag here. Like, I still really like them both individually, and I appreciated the struggles that they were both going through. But I thought that they argued a bit too much whenever they were together. Like, ultimately, it kind of felt like in the movies like Twister or Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, where you have these two characters who are together throughout the film and they just spend most of the time bickering, and it just gets kind of annoying. Like, don't get me wrong, there are times where their arguing can be funny, like they have some good lines in there, and they do work through their problems in the end, which was definitely satisfying to see. And they thankfully don't just blame Nick like I kind of thought they were going to at one point. And they do show that Judy also caused issues in their partnership, but there were still like quite a few times in the film where I just kind of thought, "Wow, you're acting like kind of an asshole here." Hopefully, though, now that they've worked through their issues, they can have a better dynamic in the inevitable Zootopia 3. Because this is getting a third one, let's be real. Gary the Snake, I also thought was kind of underutilized here. Like, he wasn't actually in the movie as much as the advertising implied he would be. And even when he was on screen, I think they kind of rushed his bond with Judy. Like, at the end of the movie, Gary calls Judy his best friend, and that did not really feel earned to me at all. Nibbles Maple Stick, I also thought was like a mixed bag of a character. Like, she's definitely supposed to be the comic relief of the film, and some of her jokes did work, particularly those involving her conspiracy theory podcast. I thought those were pretty funny, and they had some funny gags in the background whenever they showed her podcast. But then there are other jokes that just felt like, oh, look, she's being loud and awkward. She may as well be voiced by Aquafina at this point. Like, there are multiple points where she refers to herself, Judy, and Nick as a threesome, and I thought, like, okay, it wasn't funny the first time, but you say it way too many times in this. It's getting a bit much. Like, and what's crazy is there was a certain point where I thought she actually was going to exit the movie, and I thought, okay, she wasn't too bad. At least they wrote her out at a time that made sense. But nope, she ended up coming back later, and she really didn't do much to serve the movie at that point. Like, I feel like they probably could have just written her out when she left in the second act. Paulbert Linksley, I thought was enjoyable in the film, and I thought Andy Samberg brought an enjoyable, awkward charm to him. The rest of the Linksley family worked well as the villains, and I was like happy that they weren't just twist villains in the third act and they actually got proper time to be evil. Did a good job of building up like their threat and what their evil plan is. Like, okay, technically there is a third act twist villain in this movie, but it actually works, unlike most of Disney's recent attempts at this, because the motivation of the character is actually set up well, and you don't expect a twist villain to be in this movie because we already have these established villains. It's kind of like in Monsters Inc., where you had Randall throughout most of the movie serving the villain quota, and then Mr. Waternoose is revealed to also be evil in the third act, and it works because you weren't expecting there to be another villain. I was kind of worried that they were going to make Chief Bogo just like the angry commissioner again who yells at Nick and Judy that they need to get their act together, but I am glad that there is a scene where he shows that he does genuinely care about Judy after everything that happened in the first film. A big surprise, Patrick Warburton as the mayor absolutely steals the show whenever he shows up, and I'm really happy that he was in this. And speaking of Patrick Warburton and other Disney alumni who are in this movie, there are a lot of celebrity cameos in this. Like I already mentioned before, they had some veteran Disney actors in this, but even outside of that, there are a ton of celebrities who pop up in this and have like one line. And like some of like it's not like I'm gonna complain about that, but I will say some of them definitely work well than others. Like some of them, like Joe Anoya, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, and CM Punk, like they work well because they're playing characters who are supposed to be in the movie. Same as Jean Reno, they're all playing characters who are meant to be there. I really liked hearing John Leguizamo's voice pop up at the beginning, and I even thought he kind of sounded like Sid the Sloth. Like I instantly recognized that was him. And then some of the cameos, I will admit, some of them are so crazy that just knowing it was them actually really made me laugh. Like Dwayne Johnson's in this movie. I don't even think he has a proper line. I think he literally just makes like a scream like ah, and I think that's it. But it's just so funny knowing that that was him. So they do work in some regard. There was one cameo that I actually thought for sure was Kelly MacDonald, who played Merida in Brave, but guess it wasn't. I don't remember who it was, but it wasn't her. Okay, not a problem, but just I was wrong. So like yeah, despite some of the issues I brought up, I still definitely enjoyed this film. Had a great time. There were a lot of funny jokes, and it still told a great story that managed to be as timely as the first one without being too on the nose. And I definitely think any fans of the first Utopia should check this one out. And I enjoyed the post-credit scene. Without getting into spoilers, not going to spoil anything, but I'm definitely excited to see what they tease will lead to. And so I am going to give Zootopia 2 an A minus. One last thing I will say: where was the evil masked figure from the first trailer? Like, if you watch the first trailer, there's this figure in like a mask who looks very menacing. We never see them in the movie, so I don't know why that was in the trailer. That was kind of weird. So those are my thoughts on Zootopia 2. If you've seen the film, be sure to let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to see more reviews like this in the future. And on that note, I will see you next time. Have a great day.